They say lechio tastes like chicken. Some people don't believe it and go out into the wild. Throw the spear when you touch it. Snake, hold it. It's a little less meat though, but the meat quality is excellent. Cooked directly on the fire. No one can resist the smell. Bite down to crunch. It's that familiar chicken smell. Friends who want to survive in the wild, be sure to get your shots in advance. Don't forget to say goodbye to your family. After all, you might not see it. This time, in the Mexican jungle, Tina was pretty excited when she got here. Don't look at her delicate appearance. I can hunt whatever I want, but a real hunter. She's ready to enjoy the challenge. Her partner, Steve, seemed uneasy. I'm a survival coach myself. He really enjoyed going on wilderness survival expeditions. Just naked face to face with a strange woman. This is more or less embarrassing. Tina's been unshackled. She loved exploring the wilderness like this, to get closer to nature. I hope the partner is handsome. Steve wanted his partner to be more positive. After all, the challenge is more about willpower. Time to check on your partner. Soon they met at their destination. Both sides were acting very naturally. I'm not embarrassed about being naked. Tina's eyes skinned straight up and down. The first meeting was satisfactory. The surroundings are not as simple as they seem. There aren't many locals here. Forget about the dangerous creatures. Mosquitoes alone can kill a man. They had to make camp at the lake 3 miles away. The neighbor is a fleshy crocodile. It's up to you to eat meat. After a brief discussion, the two men soon settled on a route. Start taking action now. It was hot as soon as we got into the jungle. They're not really used to the heat. I want to cool off at the water source. Tina doesn't think it's a big problem. As long as it's a good hunt, the two get along reasonably well. Steve thinks it's a good pair. We should have no problem completing the challenge together. I have to say the surrounding vegetation is really lush. I'm tired just pushing it away with my hands. There are many thorns waiting for them on the ground. Worst of all, there are fire ants crawling around. I can't stand a bite. The show gave them good reviews. Have the potential to complete the challenge. After 2 hours on the road, finally came to the lakeside. We don't have time to find shelter. The surroundings look really nice. Try to keep the camp away from water. Avoid mosquitoes and animals from attacking the shelter. Just getting ready to start collecting materials. The howler monkeys above were watching them. Looks like we're going to have to look for the location. You're going to get hit on the head with something. It's important to light the fire first. The shelter wasn't built, but I didn't sleep well. There's no fire. It's being eaten up by the creatures around it. But it was too wet. What can I do with a firearm? Looks like there's no sleep to be had tonight. I was there all night trying to build a fire. I really put all my energy here. The good news is bats are coming to eat the bugs. The bad news is they can bite people. The fire really can't be kindled. The mood is so low. Woke up the next day. The first thing is to keep trying to make fire. It's like they're going to dry out the firearm. It's already showing signs of dehydration. But how do you boil water without fire? If the firearm is broken, they might be able to announce they're home early, till the sun gets better. To get a little spark out of the way, Steve seized the opportunity to spread further. The fire was finally lit. That made Tina so happy. Wilderness survival can go on again. The problem of rehydration has been solved. Next came shelter and food. Tina has already started to set up traps. I hope to invite some small animals over. Her first experience with jungle terrain. I wonder if past experience can be used. No matter what you eat, I wouldn't let them go. I don't know if you think traps work. Steve goes around looking for food. There's a lot of chili sticks to eat around here. He is quite familiar with snakes. Know how to bake better. The only problem is the position is not good force. If you're not careful, you'll fall into the water. It can only be controlled with sticks. Snake, that's a fierce counterattack. Steve wasn't taking too many chances, though it broke free and fell into the water. But Steve's stick is faster. Almost threw it on the photographer. The snake was caught smoothly. It's just that it's a little small. Steve didn't really want to do it. Tina doesn't miss anything she can eat. It's a wilderness survival challenge. What's more important than getting your stomach full? At the constant urging of his partner, it was pretty hard for Steve to watch. Crying and killing with pain. He didn't like it? I was so sick. Boy, is that why you're messing with it? Steve still apologizing to Snakehead. I really like you guys. It's just that you can't miss a meal here. Tina's got the grill all set up, just waiting for the snake to cook on top. It's a little less meat though, but it's nice to have some meat to settle your cravings. If only we could wait for him to grow up. It's briefly cleaned and then skewered. You can feel the smell across the screen. Steve literally ate the snake with tears in his eyes. He didn't expect it to taste so good. Looks like we're gonna have to catch more snakes. After eating and drinking, I finally started to build a shelter. Although the structure is relatively simple, but went an easy build fast. As soon as this was done, they said raindrops were falling. Tina thought about protecting the fire with leaves. You know you don't have any experience. Steve immediately stopped doing it himself. Now the rain is getting wetter. The fire must be attended to at all times, or it goes out and it's all over. The rain has been raining without stopping consciousness. Can only lie in the shelter to rest. What they don't understand. Motsi came to work even though it was raining heavily. I mean, it's really me. Day 4 of the challenge. It's impossible to sleep in here. The mental state of the two is very bad. The gnats around here aren't afraid of fire. You're really worried you might pick something up? The shelter has to be strengthened. Hoping to keep the mosquitoes at bay. Tina thought it might be hard here, but I didn't think it would be this bad. The mood that is becoming more and more negative. Steve didn't like it very much. Survival in the wild is a little more positive. Tina's been complaining about mosquitoes. She didn't think she was making a fuss. If you were here, you'd just break down even more. We need to do something about this place. Anyone who likes to watch the wild knows that. Crushed termites give off a scent that repels mosquitoes. This side has just what it needs. Some worry about the creatures in the water. Even the slightest thing can freak you out. Tina slowly moved over. The termite nest is even bigger than you thought. There's enough to burn for a while. I hope this works. The mosquitoes become more vicious at night. Looks like the termite nest isn't working. The gnats are coming to the buffet again. Being bitten is bad enough. And Tina's still making that noise. But it annoys Steve to death. I barely made it to the 7th day. Tina's got little bumps all over her. She felt like she was going to swell up all over. How much care is needed when we get back? The emotions are crushing. I'd love to quit the challenge and go home now. Except when the baby was born. I haven't cried that much in a long time. Steve didn't know what to say, did he? If only it could be a little quieter. My stomach began to rumble with hunger again. Tina was glad her partner was more patient. He wasn't venting anything, was he? That makes me feel a little better. What we need most now is meat on the hour. Otherwise, the body won't be able to hold up. Too bad there's not much to gain from the trap. Tina thinks the jungle is really not for her. Steve didn't get enough sleep. Spirit that is visible to the naked eye haggard. He also wanted some food to make him feel better. A special fishing cage for this purpose. Let's hope this leads to something to eat. After night, the mosquito bites began again. There is no way to sleep. I barely made it to the 8th day. Steve felt that was terrible. Not getting enough sleep and having to deal with complaints from your partner. He didn't want to say anything. He just wanted to get food, you know? Tina can't stand the mosquitoes at night. To avoid mosquito bites, she chose to stay right next to the fire, making jokes and complaining on camera. Steve was under this double torment. The mental state is worse. And so came the 10th day. Steve wanted to use a positive atmosphere. Rid your partner of negative thoughts. The jungle isn't scary. There is something wrong with the mind. Complaining constantly will only make your life worse. Tina started making fun of the rain again. If she keeps going like this, Steve feels like he's about to be emo. The challenge continues on day 11. We're going to build a platform today. Get off the ground a little bit. Let's hope the bugs don't get in here anymore. Another week and a half. Feeling sick is one thing. I really can't stand Tina's complaints. She's always been a big influence on the team. The platform is really comfortable to lie on. Tina thought it was different. It feels like something stuck on the flesh, you know? Steve was speechless about it. It began to rain again in the evening. The new platform is useless. It made Tina feel even more humid. What's the point of complaining about the platform? Steve couldn't take it anymore. I just went straight into my rage at Tina. The telegram was sent all the time. Relations between the two sides became particularly strained. I barely made it to dawn. Steve really has nothing to say. Okay. Went out alone to collect firewood. Tina thinks a partner is too cheap. Complain to yourself. What's wrong? There's really no compassion. Now the team that is very quiet. It lasted until the 13th day. Steve didn't hear his partner complain. I'm really not used to it. On reflection, Tina decided there was something wrong with her. But not much, just a little. In the end, the two apologized to each other. Eventually, he threw himself back into the challenge. Too long without food getting into your stomach. It felt like it was awful. The challenge continues on the 15th day. Steve went out again to look for food. I'm not really hungry, but willing to help your partner live a better life. Plants like this are actually edible. The sugar in it makes the body feel better. This is the first time Tina has seen this kind of food. It's sweet enough to eat. Steve was hoping it would last. There's still a long way to go before we evacuate. Tina feels much better now. Suddenly, it began to rain heavily again. The next step is to go into the shelter and rest. The temperature at night has dropped quite a bit. Finally came to 17th day. Tina thought it was awful. I can't wait to go home and have dinner. Here it's either starvation or gnats. It's going to drive people crazy to keep doing this. Unless we can get food now. Otherwise, the body can't stand it. Steve did nothing but comfort. How about we just check out the trap? Unfortunately, nothing came of it. When I thought I was going to starve again today. Didn't expect to see a venomous snake. Small is a little small, but I'm sure it'll make Tina feel better. Unfortunately, it did not catch. So hungry for another day. Tina had no energy left to get up. Just a few more days, though. But I really want to give up the challenge and go home. It's either starving here or starving on the road. Steve knows how hard it is, but it's a shame to give up like this. I don't want Tina's emotions getting to me. He also wants to eat it on the hour. Everyone's on the verge of an emotional breakdown. Did you hear something at night? Steve, get out of here and see what's going on. I didn't expect food to be delivered when I was most hungry. After the frog is simply cleaned, put on the fire and cook slowly. I haven't smelled meat in a long time. The whole person's mood is a lot better. Day 19 of the challenge. I feel much better after eating frog. Tina felt horribly strong now. We got enough firewood to last us through. She's not doing very well up front. Thank you, Steve, for not giving up on himself. That's how I've been able to hold out. Now the two feel much better. Have the confidence to complete the challenge. This is really not a place for people. They've grown a lot in front of the camera. At night, they no longer worry about mosquitoes. I mean, they're all a little numb from the bite. Before you know it, the last day has come. There's only so much left to win. They're going through the jungle and over the ridge. And then you have to swim to the other side. You know how tiring it is just to watch. There will be many thorns along the way. You can puncture your foot if you're not careful. It took a lot of work to get to the lake. There may also be crocodiles in the water. People are so nervous. The worst part was Tina's lack of energy. After swimming for a while, I was exhausted. Steve had to stop and encourage her. Two people that is full of strength to get to the other side. Tina is exhausted. Luckily, the show car arrived just in time. Finally can breathe a sigh of relief. Steve was acting like he had a lot left. Tina, that's really a lot. Anyway, congratulations on completing the challenge. I don't know who else is going to be here. Let's wait and see.